All right. So no questions on 1 through 9? All right. How about 10, 11, 12? I got them all right?
On number 10,
Yes.
I got 2 and 3 12.
Okay. So when you borrowed, right, because you had to borrow, we both ended up with the same 3 12s. When you borrowed, did you make your 10 into a 9? Or did you leave it as a 10 when you did your subtraction? Because, right, when we borrow, we have to cross out that 10 and make it a 9. And then 9 minus 8 is 1. Okay. I see a question on number 5. They ended up with a fraction of 34 over 48. Well, let's see if that's equivalent. Let's see if that works. So 24 times 2 is 48, right? Is 17 times 2 34? Yes, it is. So that works also. 5 and 34 over 48. I see a question on number 10. Last year, my elm tree was 8 5/6 feet tall. This year, it's 10.5 feet tall. How much did it grow in 1 year? So we have to take this year, how tall it is, and subtract last year's height. And that's going to tell us the difference, which will be how much it grew between those 2 years. So our 10.5 is going to be the top number, and our 8 and 5/6 is going to be the bottom number. And like we said, it's a subtraction problem. The 10.5 is the bigger number, so that's why we're putting it on top. And because it's this year, we want to know how much it grew. So we're going to find that difference. I'm going to see, can 2 go into 6? Yes, it can. 6 is going to be my denominator. I do 2 times 3 gets me 6. 1 times 3 gets me 3. Can I take 5 away from 3? No, can't do that. So I have to borrow. I'm going to cross out my 10 and put a 9. I'm borrowing 1 whole. How am I going to write that 1 whole that I borrowed? I'm going to write it as 6 over 6 because then I can easily add it to my 3/6 that I had before. So 3/6 plus 6/6 is 9/6. I'm running out of room and getting really sloppy. 9 minus 5 is 4 over 6. Oh, what did I do wrong? Why did I go to 12 last time? Not sure. Hang on, I'm doing something wrong here. 9 minus 8 is 1. Did I write it down right? 8 and 5/6, 10.5. 10.5, 8 and 5/6. 3.
It's not 10 and 1/2. It's 10 and 1 over 12.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. See, I knew I was making a mistake somewhere because I was looking at my other work over here that I did, and I had a denominator of 12. So let's try that again. 10 and 1/12 minus 8 and 5/6. So now our 6 is our smaller denominator. And can 6 go into 12? Yes, it can. 12 is my new denominator. So 6 times 2, 5 times 2 is 10. I can't take 10 away from 1. So here's where I borrow. 10 becomes a 9. I'm going to write that 1 whole as 12 over 12. So 1/12 plus 12 twelfths is 13 twelfths. 13 minus 10 is 3. Keep my same denominator. 9 minus 8 is 1. Whew, thank you for whoever set me straight.
It was Corey. Me.
Thank you, Corey. All right. Number 12, I see a question on number 12. Carrie spent 2.5 hours trimming bushes and 1 1/4 hours weeding the garden. She's supposed to work in the yard for 5 hours. How much longer does she need to work? So first, this is a 2-step problem. First, we need to figure out how long she has already worked. So we have to add together our 2.5 plus our 1 1/4. So that I did right here, 2.5 plus 1 1/4. I found that I needed 4 to be my denominator, so I have that common denominator. I know that 2 times 2 is 4, so 1 times 2 is 2. 2/4 plus 1/4 is 3/4. 2 plus 1 is 3. So she worked a total of 3 3/4 hours. But it's not asking how long she worked. She has to work for 5 hours. So how much more time does she have to work? So then I took my 5 minus 3 3/4. Well, I can't take 3/4 away from nothing, so I had to borrow. So that's where I crossed out my 5 and put a 4. And I wrote that one whole that I borrowed as 4 over 4, because then I have my same denominator as my 3/4, and I can subtract easily. 4 minus 3 is 1 over 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So she has to work for another 1 1/4 hour. Any other questions? All right, let's take a look at the back side. And I forgot, I haven't uploaded these to Otis yet, but I'll get these answers in there for you guys.
What happened to number 4?
Oh, I skipped it. Let's see. We'll say it's 1 4/7. Does that ever happen to you guys where you accidentally skip one?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know why it happens? Because we're human and humans make mistakes. But what's important is what we do after our mistakes. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. (18B). How much flour does Ted need for both recipes? So if one recipe has 3 1/4 and the other has 2 3/4, we're going to add those two together to find out how much he needs for both recipes. So 3 1/4 plus 2 3/4. Well, 1/4 plus 3/4 is 4/4. 3 plus 2 is 5. I can't have an answer that looks like 5 4/4 though. That doesn't look right. So I need to change that 4/4 to a whole. And then if I take the 5 that I had before plus my new whole, I get a total of 6 cups. Other questions? Oh, I see number 16. So on these, you're just finding equivalent fractions. So I just took, and for my first equivalent fraction, I multiplied both the top and the bottom by 2. And then for this one, I multiplied the top and the bottom by 3, right? 4 times 3 is 12, 7 times 3 is 21. Then I multiplied them both by 4, because as long as we're multiplying both our numerator and our denominator by the same number, we're going to have an equivalent fraction. So 4 times 4 was 16. 4 times 7 is 28. Are there other questions? Give you guys a minute here. I'm not seeing any questions pop up. All right, let's go ahead and take out our student activity books and take a look at today's lesson. We are on lesson 110, which is page 23. Go ahead and open up to there. And I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to give you probably about 5 minutes. I'll put a timer up here, but I'm going to have you guys go ahead and solve 1 through 9, okay? I'm going to put a timer on for 5 minutes. I want you to take 5 minutes to solve those. Don't go away. We're not done with math, but I need you to solve these first 9 problems, okay? It's okay if you don't finish them in the 5 minutes. Just get done what you can. So you're checking your answers with mine because chances are good I might have made some mistakes. And then if you didn't finish, just go ahead and fill in your answer so we can go through and answer some of these questions. Any questions on 1 through 9?
I got a different answer on number.
On number what? You cut out. I couldn't
Ask
hear
her to type it in the chat.
you. Yep. I did see on number 8, somebody said they got 2/18 for the fraction, but so it was 4/18 and 6/18. I can't take 6 away from 4, so I have to borrow. Right? I can't take 6 away from 4, so I have to borrow. It's not 4 from 6. Ashlyn, did you want to type your question into the chat? You cut out there. I couldn't hear which number you were asking about.
I was asking about number 8.
Okay, did that help?
Yeah.
Okay.
But where did you get the 6 from?
Because 3 times 6 is 18, so I have to do 1 times 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look at these questions. For 10A, it says, what do the problems in group 1 have in common? This is group 1. And it says to focus on the denominators. What did you guys notice that we had to do with all of the denominators on these?
We had to
Multiply.
Yeah, on this one, we had to multiply the denominators times each other, right? Or we had to find another common denominator because there wasn't, and we're okay not writing answers down for this. I just want us to have conversation. There wasn't, like 3 would not go into 10. They didn't have a common factor that would work for both of them. So we had to find another denominator that worked for both of those fractions. Would you say the same thing was true for group 3?
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, none of those would work where your smaller denominator would go into your larger denominator, right? It wouldn't work for any of those.
Wait, the number 3 on group 3. Well, yeah, that one. 8 times 12 is not 24.
I didn't multiply 8 times 12.
Oh.
I'm just saying like 8 wouldn't go into 12, so we had to find another denominator.
Oh yeah.
The same thing on this one, 6 times 4 is not 24. So I found a common denominator that worked for both of them. But I see what you're saying. You're looking back to these, where with these, where we had to end up multiplying our 2 denominators together to find a common denominator. On these, I looked at the other multiples of each number in order to find my common denominator. How about that middle section? How is group 2 different from the other 2?
Because you can multiply in them.
Say it again.
Because you can multiply and
Go into them, like you can multiply in them.
So one denominator will go into my other denominator,
Yeah.
right? So I can use one of my denominators that's already there, right? That's kind of handy. I can go ahead and I can use 14 because 7 will go into 14. Or I can use 28, or I can use 18. I don't have to come up with a whole brand new denominator. I can use one of the ones that I already have on the page. Okay, awesome. Let's flip over to the back side. Since we're going to be starting on the homework in just a couple minutes, I'm not going to have us do all of these extra practice because this is what you're going to be doing on your homework. So you don't need to do anything with that. But let's take a look at this line plot down at the bottom just to kind of review line plots and how they work. So on my line plot here, it's weight in pounds. It says every week, Mr. Park asks for 1 pound of potato salad at the deli. The line plot shows the actual weight of the salad and the deli actual weight of the My goodness. The line plot shows the actual weight of the salad the deli worker has given him for the past several weeks. So he's asking for a pound. How many times has he gotten exactly a pound?
4 times.
4 times, yes. Once he got 7/8. 2 times he got 5/16, right? Each one of these dots shows how many times he's received that amount. Why do you think there's these little slash marks here?
I
I think
am missing a fraction.
Because you're missing fractions. That's right. Notice it doesn't say 0, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. It starts at 7/8. Okay, and then goes to 15/16, and then goes to a whole. So we skipped a whole lot of other fractions. So that's what those 2 little lines mean, that there's a whole lot of fractions in between that we just went ahead and skipped for the purpose of saving room on our chart. So what's the difference between the greatest weights shown on the greatest and the least? So my greatest weight is what? What's the most amount that someone has purchased?
1 pound, which is 4 pounds.
No, the
1
greatest
1/4.
is
1
1
1/4.
1/4.
Oh, 1/4. Okay.
Okay.
1
So
and
see what you were going for there,
One
Spencer? You went
over
for the one that had the most
Yeah,
purchase,
yeah.
but it's saying the greatest weight shown on the graph. Okay.
Honest mistake.
What's the least weight shown on the graph?
7/8.
7/8.
Yeah.
7/8.
And it wants difference, so what sign am I going to do?
Subtraction.
Subtraction. What's my common denominator going to be?
8.
8. Yes. How do I
8
get from 4 to 8?
times 2.
Times 2.
Times
What's
2.
times 2?
2.
2.
2.
Can I do 2 minus 7?
No, but you're gonna have to borrow from the 1.
I'm going to have to borrow from the 1.
So then
My
it
1
makes it
became a
0.
0. I'm borrowing 1 whole. How do I want to write that 1 whole so I can
8
add
8.
8/8.
Yes, I want to write it as 8/8.
And then we're gonna add 10 8.
Which is 10.
10/8.
So it's 3 8.
10/8 minus 7/8 is 3/8. So he had 3/8 pounds difference. All right. For 3 of the weeks, Mr. Park received less than a pound. What is the combined weight of the salad in these 3 weeks? What am I going to do here? Am I going to add or subtract?
You're gonna add all of them together. But no.
All of them?
Add 7/8 and 15/16.
No, actually, you have to add the dots too. But you have to add.
You have to add the
there are
dots
2
of the
dots.
2.
There are 2
the
dots in
2.
15/16, so there are 2 15/16.
There
And
you go.
since there are 4 pounds, then you have to add 4 pounds.
But it wants to know the ones that are less than a pound. So am I going to add the 4 pounds? Is
No.
that less than a pound? No, it's the same as a pound. But 15/16 is less than a pound, and I have that 2 times. And 7/8 is less than a pound. Actually, I'm going to make it a little
Common
bit easier on
denominator.
myself here. I'm going to make this a little bit easier on myself here. 15/16 and 15/16. I can do that in my head, right? Because 15 plus 15 is what?
36.
30
30.
over 16.
16.
Over 16.
And then I have my 7/8. I have to find my common denominator, which is going to be
16.
16. How do I get from 8 to 16?
You multiply by 2.
Times 2. What's 7 times 2?
Multiply,
14.
14.
14. Okay. And then I have 30 plus 14, which is
44.
44/16. But holy cow, can I write an answer that looks like 44/16?
No.
Well, we want the actual fraction.
Put it at, you're
I
gonna,
Put it into a mixed number.
you gotta make it a mixed fraction.
Mixed number.
I hear y'all saying it. I need to make it a mixed number by dividing the denominator into the numerator. I'm running out of room. So I'm going to put 16 into 44. Well, I know 16 times 3 is 48, and that's too big. So it's going to have to be 2 times.
Yeah, and then it has
Times
to
2 is 32, and subtract, and I have a 12 left.
12,
So my
16.
2 is my whole number, right? My 12, my remainder is my numerator, and I keep my old denominator. Whew, that's a lot of work.
It
2
is.
and
2 times
12,
16.
16 pounds would be that combined weight.
You know, the overall question is, what is he doing with all this potato salad?
Well, he likes potato salad. He eats some every week. This is several weeks worth of potato salad.
Oh, I thought it was
That's a
like
lot.
pound for a
No,
day.
it says every week he asks for a pound.
So basically, he
More?
asked for 1 pound. So basically, the deli worker is doing a terrible job because
Not necessarily, because it's difficult to get the exact weight of materials like that.
I
Right?
know, but don't they always have to like put it on the scale and like?
They do, but I mean, if you pull out a chunk of potato, you might be pulling out more than the difference that you need.
True. They could have also asked us, like, what would be how many like how many pounds in total,
Yep.
and
What
then
if
how
you
many
wanted a
extra
I
pound
think
of
ones.
we're
total
focusing a lot on the potato salad and not so much on the math right now.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
All right, so what comes next? Next comes your homework book. And like I said, look at that. You've got lots of practice right there, okay? At the bottom has a couple word problems for you. And let's take a look at the remembering practice real quick, just to make sure it's all stuff we can do. Yes, we can write mixed numbers to go with the shaded pictures. We can answer questions about the bar graph. And then we have a diagram down here below. So just like before, we've got about 9 minutes until recess. I'm going to stay on. If you have questions, please ask them during this time. If you are good, in just a moment, you can log off. But let's take out our planners real quick. Some of you